Among many obstacles that a survivor can face while trying to leave a narcissist, one of the most difficult one could be a narcissist threatening you with suicide, threatening you that they are going to kill themselves if you leave. And in such a situation, we feel stuck as empaths, as those who think and assume that it is their responsibility to take care of others, to make sure that others are okay, and especially alive in this case. Hi, I am Danish, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional, and today's episode is going to be about a very important question, about a very important and sensitive topic. How do you cope and deal with a narcissist when they're threatening you with suicide? What do you do in such a situation and how do you leave? If that sounds interesting to you and if you would like to learn more about such sensitive topics, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel by pressing the subscribe button and push the bell icon to stay updated with everything latest that I post here. Before we get started, let's try to understand why a narcissist does this. Most probably, it has to be a vulnerable covert narcissist who is completely dependent on you, emotionally at least, and you are the primary source of their supply. And that's why they have to keep you under this fear, controlled, that thinking that if you leave, everything is going to get destroyed, and if anything happens to them, you are going to be held liable for it. So it's a means of control. It's a means of keeping you stuck in the relationship so that they can keep extracting the supply they do, as of now. And after understanding that, you have to understand the second and most important thing, that most of the times this is an empty threat. In my whole career, in my whole practice, I have seen only one single case where a narcissist said this but didn't do it until he was completely exposed and nothing was kept hidden. Like there was no chance for him to put on a mask or hide behind a mask. That is when it happened, and it was very unfortunate. Otherwise, 99.99% of the time, I just see it as an empty threat and nothing happens. They may create a dramatic, a chaotic situation when you leave, and I'll of course prepare you for that, how to deal with that in the later part of the video. But they do not do what they say they will do in reality, because they're saying it just to keep you around and nothing else. So that is the second thing, which takes us to the next thing, and that is the understanding, no one's well-being is your responsibility. You are not responsible for the choices a person makes. The same way no one is responsible for the choices you make, you are not liable for what a person decides. Maybe you can offer support, but definitely not on the expense of yourself. You cannot sacrifice yourself on the altar of someone else's drama and someone else's chaos, someone else's destruction that they never take the responsibility to deal with. So release the responsibility from your shoulders, release the fear. It is not your responsibility to take care of them. And they are taking advantage of your sympathy, your empathy, and your fear, and to keep you in the cage, they just do this. What they are doing, they are threatening you. And that means once you understand that it's not your responsibility, once you lighten yourself up and give yourself the permission that yes, it is okay to leave, you can then do that strategically. Meaning when you think about leaving, you do not have to go and tell them I'm leaving, because when you do that, they create a dramatic situation out of it. And then you feel stuck. So you have to find a strategic way around. In my opinion, it could be leaving without telling the narcissist. And you may think and you may ask, wouldn't that escalate the situation? Wouldn't that make it even worse? Probably it would. That's why you have to take care of two other things. One, you have to contact the authorities, the police, or anyone you think that can help you legally, and let them know that if this person does something to themselves, it is going to be solely their responsibility and not yours. Why? Again, because this is an abusive situation, and they have been trying to control you through threatening suicide. And that is why once you are done that, you would mitigate the risk there. Legally, the chances of you being held liable would be much less. And the second thing, you can contact their family, you can contact their friends, but once you leave, you have to do these things once you leave, but immediately, right next to it. And you have to let them know that please go there and take care of them. They might make a situation that is dramatic, that is chaotic, and I am not responsible for that. It's their choice what they are going to do. I have done what I could, and I do not find the compatibility that we need to coexist, and thus I am leaving the situation. And they could then, they would be aware, and they could take care of this person. But you have to contact those who you know either understand your situation or from their side, like their family, but understand your situation. Second, if they do not, they are neutral, not the flying monkeys, because then it can be triangulated and things can go the wrong way. So you have to contact those people. You have to at least let the neighbors know, anyone that you think could handle them in the chaotic, dramatic situation they create out of nothing, and also the authorities. That would mitigate the risk. Once you leave, they are going to flood you with messages. They are going to send messages. Even some of them could harm themselves, which could possibly happen in a case if someone has borderline personality mixed with narcissism. They could harm themselves. That you have to take care of. You keep a documentation of that, so that when and if needed, you can provide that as an evidence that this is what was happening and this is what was said and told. Because again, you are not liable for what they do. It is their choice, and you are doing the right thing for yourself and your children if they're also involved. So these are the main steps that you could possibly take. One, first, understanding that 99.99% of the times it's an empty threat. Second, even if they do something, you are not liable for that. It is their choice, it's their responsibility. They are an adult, and they cannot keep you trapped with the fear they are trying to instill in you. The third thing is, when you leave, do not directly tell them. Do it very strategically. One of the ways to do that would be to leave, and when you leave, right there and right then, contact the authorities, for example the police or the neighbors or the family. Let them know that if something happens to this person, it would be their responsibility and their choice completely, and not yours, and you have nothing to do with it. The other thing to do is, the moment you get those messages, or however they contact you and whatever they say in that communication, you have to keep it documented and never look back. Do not go back, no matter how much they guilt trip you, because it's again a trap. You have to take that first step. You have to show the courage, because that courage would lead you to your freedom. Otherwise, you are going to stay stuck forever, and there is nothing fruitful that is going to come out of this situation. Even worse, the situation is going to get more difficult for you to handle with time, because they are going to get worse with their narcissism. That being said, just understand that this is not a straight up advice, because this is a very sensitive issue. You can take this as an example, as a reference, and then think about your situation and take your own decisions depending on your own situation. This video or this episode is not here to tell you what you need to do or what you have to do. It's your own discernment, it's your own judgment that will lead you to that point. This episode is just a way of understanding the situation and a way of navigating situation. Hope that made sense, and you were able to learn how to deal with a narcissist who is threatening suicide. I'll talk with you in the next one. Till then, let the healing begin.